injury attorneys at The Advocates can't actually prevent you from being in a cycling accident, they will be by your side to support you following your accident. Our legal services won't cost you a dime out of pocket. So when you need an injury attorney, call us. We're The Advocates, your Utah personal injury attorneys. You didn't deserve to be in an accident, but you do deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show on a Friday. As always, presented by The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. You know, you never pay out of pocket to work with The Advocates. You don't pay The Advocates unless and until they win your case. So what do you have to lose? If you get hurt at work, they are the injury attorneys you want fighting for you. They know workman's comp inside out, car accidents, accidents with truck. Are you going on a long road trip this weekend, such as in like myself? Yeah, got to be a defensive driver. If something happens, make sure you reach out to The Advocates, where you can chat with an attorney live online 24/7, and it won't cost you a dime at theadvocates.com. A very mundane, not surprising, not shocking first round of the NFL draft, which might be the most shocking part of the non-shocking NFL draft, is that it wasn't shocking at all. Perhaps the only shocking move is Michael Penix Jr. drafted at 8 by the Atlanta Falcons, which I think if you look at that pick, I actually don't think it's that surprising. But other than that, you look up and down the draft board and you say to yourself, well, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake Maye, I think those three, as we talked about on our draft preview yesterday, that was not surprising at all. Marvin Harrison Jr., Joe Alt to the Chargers, not surprising. Maybe surprising, teams are calling the LA Chargers asking to trade for Justin Herbert. Not surprising, the Chargers said absolutely not. Right? So none of that is surprising. Malik Nabers, the Giants had opportunities, I guess, but they're in a position where they have another year of guaranteed money with Daniel Jones. And this is a team that hasn't had a 1,000-yard wide receiver in the Giants, I think, for 8 years. I don't think that was a surprising pick. I think we properly predicted J.C. Latham to the Titans on the show yesterday. Mm-hmm. Not surprising. And then you get to the Falcons at 8. And is it surprising? It is. But does it make sense? See, I think it does make sense. I think, obviously, it is surprising that you have, I mean, a buttload of guaranteed money dedicated to Kirk Cousins. He's an older quarterback. He's got an Achilles injury. And I think you have absolutely nothing to lose with Michael Penix on your roster. Now, would it have been nice to be better defensively? Sure, it would have. Would it have been nice to get another weapon for Kirk Cousins? Sure, it would have. But, Jake, I don't think this is the catastrophe that people are making it out to be.
No, and I feel like, everybody wanted to go right down the road of like, hey, like, Kirk Cousins and company were upset about this, or dismayed, or like, surprised. And look, I understand that there's probably some drama there. They allegedly call Kirk Cousins when they were on the clock and, we're like, hey, this is what we're doing, just wanted to let you know. And people felt like it was bad form, if you will, to do this to Kirk Cousins. But I tend to agree. I mean, I don't think there's any guarantees when it comes to the Achilles situation. I mean, are people still going to be saying that this is somehow a shocking pick if Kirk Cousins plays 2 games and is out for the year again, let's say, or if he misses significant time and, they need somebody? So to that end, that to me is why it's not necessarily a shocking pick. I just think people weren't expecting Atlanta to take a quarterback because they already had Kirk Cousins. But if you really look at their situation, Michael Penix is essentially an insurance policy. You're saying, hey, like, we got to have someone behind this guy. And at some point, Kirk Cousins is going to retire. So yeah, there was definitely some shock value to it. But when you dig into it, you start to understand it. And I think that if Kirk Cousins and his camp are upset about it, then that's on them to figure that out and deal with that. But I just don't think for the organization this was somehow some slight against Kirk Cousins, that you need to have depth.
I think it is always dangerous when you pay a quarterback that kind of money and then you, without having even played a snap on that money, you draft a guy to replace him. That's always going to be awkward. Quarterback was not a need for the Falcons, but I love their explanation, and their explanation to me justifies exactly why they made the pick.
Have you called Kirk when you were on the clock and you tell him about it? What's his reaction?
Well, that's a private. We wouldn't share that, and obviously
reactions are pretty private, right?
Yeah.
He got called on the clock, obviously because it's a sensitive time with the issues of what you got going on. It's never a right time to talk to a quarterback about those things, and reactions are always going to be private when it comes to those things, unless Kirk decides to tell you some of those things, or whatever the case may be. But he's a competitor, just like us all, and you can always expect those things to go just like you kind of think.
His agents kind of been telling us that they were shocked and dismayed and so forth, that they were informed on the clock.
Yes.
It's awkward, but their explanation makes sense. Hey, I'm not going to tell him because then it's going to get out. And multiple teams tried to trade up to get Michael Penix Jr. So you understand why they kept it close to the vest, right? Like, you understand that. I also like that they said he's a generational quarterback. We identified this guy as a generational quarterback and the best offensive player available to us at number 8. I don't have any problem with the move. There is going to be, in my opinion, a lot of busts in the top half of this draft. I think in a minute we're going to talk about who wound up in the best spot. Michael Penix Jr. wound up in the best spot for the simple fact he's not going to be expected to be the starter on that team probably for at least 1 year. I would think probably 2. I think it's a great spot for Penix. I think the Falcons are going to have to figure out how now to make their team better, because the inarguable downside to drafting Michael Penix, you're not a better football team than you were yesterday at this time.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You can't say, you look up and down the draft board like I would go to the New Orleans Saints. I would go to the Saints and I would say Talisi Fuaga makes you a far better football team, allows you to run the football, allows you to protect Derek Carr. Talisi Fuaga did not give up a sack in the last 2 years in college. Like, that pick to me says we're a better football team. Brock Bowers makes the Las Vegas Raiders a better football team. Leatu Latu now with a bit of a neck issue, they say, is why he fell out of the top 10. I think the Colts are a better football team.
Mm-hmm.
I just look at these picks and I see a lot of these teams today. Hell, my Chicago Bears are a better football team today than they were yesterday, right? You got an elite quarterback and an elite wide receiver. You're a better football team today. Can't say that about the Atlanta Falcons.
And I think that's what's tough is, like, right now, you're not gonna see a return on the investment you made last night in the draft with Penix right now. But I do think we can all agree that the quarterback position has been a problem for this team ever since Matt Ryan was not here. And you've gone through several guys, and you've had a bunch of issues with it, and it's really hurt you and made it so that you're not competitive. So yeah, I mean, did you get better right now? No, probably not. But if Michael Penix Jr. pans and develops under Kirk Cousins and turns into the next great quarterback in the league, and Atlanta's good for 10 years after Kirk leaves, Falcon fans not going to be complaining at all. And I think that's the hard part about this particular situation. And so, everyone was like, oh, well, the owner and the GM are on ESPN right now, and the GM's having to explain to the owner what the hell they're doing. He looks like an idiot. And it's like, yeah, he may look a little silly right now, but 5 years from now, when Penix is your starting quarterback and you're better for it, maybe then we'll start to understand.
He is the other part of this, and I think this is really important. Michael Penix Jr. is 24 years old. How long are you willing to let this cat sit as a backup? Because you need, if you're going to pay a guy, you've given this guy 5 years. He's going to be 31 at the end of his rookie contract. I mean, 29 at the end of his rookie contract, going to be 30. That's not ideal. Quarterbacks are on the wrong side of 30 quite often.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I definitely see the downside. But if I look at some of the other picks, I mean, JJ McCarthy to the Vikings, you understand it. Solid pick. I think that Kevin O'Connell has done a very good job of facilitating growth by quarterbacks. But again, I'm with most of the NFL pundits who are asking, is this a guy that you can just plug in? Would JJ McCarthy have been more successful if the New York Giants had taken him and let him sit for a year behind Daniel Jones? That's probably the better play for JJ McCarthy, because it feels like Free Harbaugh is a guy that's going to need a significant growth curve in the NFL. And going into Minnesota, he's going to be asked to be the starter there, I would think, almost right away. I look at what the Broncos did. I'm a little perplexed at – I'm perplexed is strong. Is Bo Nix a guy that you feel like can build into a franchise quarterback? There's only one reason I don't think this is a horrendous pick, because I don't see Bo Nix being a huge, put the team on his back guy.
Right.
What does Bo Nix do very well? He is accurate, and he is accurate inside of 15 yards. And what do Sean Payton offenses need you to do?
Be accurate.
And take the occasional deep shot. And you have a guy in Sean Payton who loves the intermediate route, and he loves his quarterbacks to get outside the pocket a little bit. Not a lot, a little bit. And he loves guys that are gritty and leaders. And Bo Nix is a great fit for his head coach.
Well, and I think you look at the struggles Drew Brees had at the end of his tenure with Sean Payton, right, in New Orleans. And everyone said, oh, well, Drew's arm strength is, it's fallen off. And
it had.
And he couldn't really run that offense anymore. So the only question for Bo is just simply going to be, can he digest the offense and command the offense the way Drew Brees was at one point? Can he get to that point in the first, 2.5 seasons or so? And then once you're there, can you make every throw? Because, when I compare Bo Nix's situation with, like, let's say JJ McCarthy's problem is going to be his arm strength. But I don't think Bo Nix is going to have too much issue with that. And it's because of the way they run the offense. You're right? Sean Payton likes to run the 15-yard route. He likes to work right behind the linebackers. And Bo Nix can do that all day. So I think Bo Nix has an opportunity, but I think at the same time, it'd be remiss not to say that the Broncos under Sean Payton got to show that they can be successful.
You have to design an offense to strengthen his weaknesses.
Yeah.
And we'll see if he does that. Then there's the Buffalo Bills. And if anybody wants to explain to me what on earth the Buffalo Bills were doing last night, they traded out of the first round. Not once, twice. And they passed on 2 wide receivers in Xavier Worthy, who I think is exactly, exactly what the Kansas City Chiefs needed. And Xavier Liggett, who I think is exactly what the Carolina Panthers needed. If you're going to resurrect Bryce Young, you better have a really good wide receiver to do it, and they got him. Does Buffalo need wide receivers? Yeah, I think they do. Do you need a lot of talent on that team? Yeah, I think you do.
Well, in addition to that, it's perplexing you would do a deal with Kansas City. I mean, I don't understand why if you're sitting in that war room on draft night in Buffalo, you literally said to yourself, hey, we're gonna do business with the Chiefs. And by doing this transaction, by trading this pick with the Chiefs, we're going to go ahead and put them in a position to get what most people say is generational speed on their offense.
Man.
And this is the team that's been kicking our ass for the last, 5 years, pretty much? This is one of those deals where, and I'm not even trying to be dramatic, this is you losing in the AFC Championship game again.
Yeah.
Because he will burn you on the field. He will.
There are some picks in the bottom half of this draft that are amazing. The Vikings getting Dallas Turner. Jesus. Like, I mean, you added now, whatever you think of free Harbaugh, you added your quarterback, and you got arguably the best edge defender in the draft.
Yeah.
I love that the LA Rams took Jared Verse. Had to do something. You're losing, arguably, if you're the Rams, you're losing the best defensive lineman ever to retirement. You needed to do something. They did. I love Chop Robinson to the Dolphins. This is a perfect fit. You have massive injuries across that defensive line, especially at the edge. Chop, while he is not prototypical size, he is explosive, he is fast, and he proved to be unstoppable when he was the target of the defense at Penn State. He was every offensive target on the game plan was to deal with Chop Robinson.
Yeah.
Now you plug in Chop, who is absolutely filling a need. I love that pick. Quinion Mitchell, to the Eagles.
Yeah, did you guys hear what Nick Saban said about this guy? You guys remember we talked about him yesterday on the show, right? So he goes to Toledo, like he's one of the best cornerbacks in college football. What did Nick Saban say? Yeah, we tried to get him to get in the portal, and he simply refused. Like, we talked to him. We tried to get him to do it. So them getting this guy, it's huge value because he's an immediate impact for their team.
Yeah, and we talked about him on the show yesterday, and it's not surprising. Brian Thomas to the Jags. Again, I love general managers who are like, okay, where are we? What do we need? Well, Trevor Lawrence needs a new buddy, and you got one.
100%.
And then Detroit hit a home run with Terry and Arnold. Speaking of Nick Saban, their biggest issue and the reason that they're not, playing for a Super Bowl this past season, couldn't stop the big play repeatedly. I think you solved that problem. And then I think at the end of the first round, from 28 to 32, Worthy's a home run for the Chiefs. I think Tyler Guyton.
Yes.
I specifically talked about him yesterday on the show. And I told you, whoever winds up with Tyler Guyton is going to hit a home run. And the Dallas Cowboys wound up with Tyler Guyton.
And that pick is on the heels of earlier this week, Jerry saying that he still thinks Dak has more top-end potential.
I love Tyler Guyton to the Cowboys. I absolutely love it. And then Baltimore adding Nate Wiggins. I mean, how many more defenders does that team need? Are you out of your damn mind? Like that, forget it. That's the best defense in the AFC.
Well, I mean, if you're Baltimore,
unbelievable.
You're sitting there, I think, frankly, being blunt about your offensive situation. You're saying, hey, it's Lamar and Zay Flowers, and we've got some tight ends, but we don't have like a prolific, unstoppable offense. So because of that, we need to have an uncrackable defense. And Baltimore's issue ultimately at the end of the day was you couldn't stop wide receivers from getting open. And that to me is why you went ahead and you picked up Nate Wiggins.
Matabuki, you look at Roquan, you look at Kyle Hamilton. I mean, that defense, forget it. Like, I don't know, like Marlon Humphrey, and now you add in another superior talent in Nate Wiggins.
Yeah, I mean, your base defense is going to be incredible.
It's wild. And then the only questionable pick, and again, I don't understand it. What did the 49ers see in Ricky Pearsall? I don't know either. When Xavier Liggett is sitting there begging you to pick him.
Yeah,
and on that with the Brandon Ayuk problem.
Yeah, the analysis of Pearsall is that he's an elite route runner, that this is someone who's crafty. He's not someone who's going to run by you per se, but if you say, hey, I need a 12-yard in, it will be right at 12 yards. It will be on time, on the money. So if you think about who runs that offense, you begin to understand that maybe that's why they picked him. Not because he's the biggest name, not because he's somehow the best talent, but because you wanted humble pie and you wanted a guy that can run routes at an elite level. I don't know why else you would have picked him outside of that. Because if it's not that, then I don't understand it.
With Xavier Liggett sitting there.
Yeah.
Who I think is one of the absolute sleeper talents in this draft. Just sitting there. And you what? Pearsall? Yeah. And I'm not saying Pearsall is going to be bad, but that was a reach.
The draft is about talent, man. The draft is about getting the best talent possible at your position of need. And the age-old discussion is best available versus what we need, right? So, like, again, Shanahan and that offense, that's what powers them. That defense is solid. It's good enough to win you a Super Bowl. But that offense is ultimately what's going to decide how far you go. So you better not miss on this guy.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what you do if you're the Buffalo Bills. If you're a Buffalo Bills fan this morning, I don't know what you do. I don't know how you handle it. I don't know.
Pissed.
I don't know how you justify trading Diggs and then not drafting. I mean, you passed on 3 really top-end wide receivers. And I understand Xavier Worthy probably wasn't a great fit there. I understand that they probably want to go defense. But you can't go defense when Josh Allen's your quarterback. You have a generational talent at quarterback. You've got, and again, I go to, this is probably a Sean McDermott thing. This is a Matt Eberflus thing. Like, do you think as a philosophy that the Chicago Bears would have drafted Caleb Williams and Rome? Don't call me Jim Roma Dunze. Do you think they'd have drafted those two if Ebersucks was making the decision?
No,
I don't think they probably would have.
They'd have drafted defense.
And there's just some questionable. I don't know what Buffalo's doing. I don't understand.
Well, we know what they're doing. They're not winning.
I mean,
that's the constant in Buffalo right now, which is, and again, you're a playoff team. Like your nemesis is the Chiefs, and that's why when I saw that trade happen, I was like, dude, what are you doing? Why are you putting the Chiefs in a position to get their next Tyreek Hill? Why? Like, because that's what it is. Like, you guys get that, right? Like, that's what Xavier Worthy is, man. Like, generational speed. Like, I am simply going to run by you, and there's nothing you can do about it. Don't care if the safety's there, can run by him too. Like, that's the problem. Like,
when you are, look at the bottom picks here. When you're Baltimore, when you are, I mean, does anybody question Nate Wiggins to Baltimore? Does anybody question Xavier Liggett to Carolina?
No.
So again, Buffalo, what are you doing? And I'll say the same thing about the 49ers. I understand it. Ricky Pearsall is a good player. He is a guy that I think he probably is that, Danny Amendola, gritty. I think he'll be a really elite slot receiver in this league.
Yeah.
But you had a chance at Xavier Liggett. Go ahead, Nick.
Sorry.
I'll just,
Sorry.
Rando
videos on website.
Let me know when you're ready to
bad.
do the show. I will just look at Debo and Ayuk.
Mm-hmm.
Debo's not going anywhere. I think Brandon Ayuk is probably going to get traded because he doesn't want to be there. Even though he texted the 49ers last night, apparently after the pick, and was excited about it. You needed to draft the best wide receiver you could get your hands on. That's Xavier Liggett. And then to watch him go to a situation where he's a perfect fit in Carolina. Is there any, and he I don't know. This is why I'm not a general manager. This is why I'm not a general manager, I guess. I don't think the NFL draft is that difficult.
Yeah, I think the Bills were one of the only teams to mess it up. I mean, usually, the morning after the draft, there's like 2 or 3 situations where we're like, yeah, probably not a great pick there. But like outside of the Penix situation, the Bills are really the only ones where you're like, man, like, what were you guys doing? You know, like,
Well, even Amarius Mims to Cincinnati, a lot of people were like, whoa, you understand it. Joe Burrow's gotten hit a lot.
yeah.
They want to be physical at the point of attack. They're going through a change. Joe Mixon's gone. Like, you're going through a change. So you drafted. Big is not the right word for Mims. Like, this motherfucker, he is massive.
You're a giant.
Yeah, he is massive. So you understand, Talisi Fuaga, you understand it, right? You understand Byron Murphy to the Seahawks.
Yeah.
I don't understand what the Bills are doing. I think the Bills are the ultimate loser last night. I do. I think the Bears probably got the draft right, but how difficult was it to draft a quarterback and a wide receiver?
Yeah, it was
2
pretty
picks in the
straightforward.
top 10.
Yeah.
Right? How difficult was it for the Washington Commanders to take Jaden, or the Patriots? Let's talk about which quarterback wound up in the best spot. Because I am not a believer in the Patriots. I am not a believer that Drake Maye can succeed there. Because I believe the kid is really talented. I do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if talent's enough when you go to New England with this setup.
Well, it's a defensive-minded organization. It has been for decades, right? Obviously, you know, the Belichick era was hallmarked by great defense, and Tom was what put you over the top. You know, if Tom Brady's not there, that's an average-ass organization with a great defense. I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, Bill Belichick is not some offensive savant, right? He's a defensive-minded guy, and he's one of the best we've ever seen in the game at it. And so for that reason alone, when I look at Drake Maye and the Patriots, I'm sitting here saying, like, yeah, this kid's got a lot of talent. But again, every single year, I think we use the same measuring stick. What quarterback got drafted where they can sit behind a starter? That's the guy that's going to have huge success. And there's one guy, right? And that's Michael Penix Jr. And so for that reason alone, I think Drake Maye is going to have struggles. I think Drake Maye is going to go in there and do everything he can do. But I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, Gerard Mayo is some huge evaluator or developer of quarterbacks, because that's not who he is.
I look at Alex Van Pelt, who is the offensive coordinator, experienced guy. I look at TC McCartney, who is the quarterback's coach. He's never been a quarterback's coach before. Offensive assistant in Cleveland, and then he coached tight ends. Now he's the quarterback's coach. I also look at Ben McAdoo. Obviously, he's the senior offensive assistant. McAdoo and Van Pelt make a lot of sense to me. TC McCartney does not make a lot of sense to me. And Michael McCarthy, who is the offensive assistant quality control guy, that's an NFL brain. But you had better hope that Alex Van Pelt crawls up Drake Maye's ass and they become a joint at the hip.
Yeah.
Because Alex Van Pelt will make or break on the development of Drake Maye in New England. And I think Mayo is a weird dude. And I hope I'm wrong, because I think the NFL is better when that team in Boston, the Boston Patriots,
Yeah.
when they're good, anytime Boston sports is good, sports are better.
Yeah.
So I'm not a Patriots fan by any stretch. The league needs them to be good. This is not how you do it, in my opinion. How many, like Mac Jones? Mac Jones is an NFL caliber quarterback that got wrecked in New England because his offensive coordinator had never coached offense and was a defensive coordinator by trade.
Yeah.
How'd that work out? Right? Yeah. Like, you look at, and I don't mean to be simplistic about this, but you look at the best quarterbacks in the NFL. They're in great quarterback situations. Again, I point to Patty Mahomes in Kansas City. Best offensive mind, arguably, in the history of the NFL, and Andy Reid. Right? You have an entire staff in place to facilitate offense. I look at Justin Herbert in Los Angeles. We still should be in San Diego playing in a whale's vagina. I don't know how you can make him better. Oh, I know. Hire one of the best quarterback developers in football. And you go and you get him an unbelievably talented offensive lineman. Because
stalwartness.
Justin Hebert and those flowing locks and that six-pack ab of sex awesomeness has been bruised and battered with a 3-foot-tall leprechaun at running back and wide receivers who have consistently been injured and nothing of quality on the offensive line.
Yeah.
So what did you do? You hired Jim Harbaugh, you drafted Alt, and now you are dedicating yourself to facilitating the success of that quarterback.
And I believe they're picking 5th today or tonight
in the second round.
So you're telling me that we should be shocked if they go running back here?
I think if I look at the 37th is what you're looking at.
Yeah.
I think wide receiver, and then I'd be really surprised if they did not go something in the secondary. You've got to get away. I mean, your two best wide receivers walked out the door. So you got to go replace Mike Williams and Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
But you did your job with Joe Alt. That kid can play football.
Well, and you've got a foundation for Jim to work with, right? I mean, you know, again, I'm no Jim Harbaugh guy, as you all are well aware, but setting all the vitriol from college football aside, just looking at what he's got to work with the Chargers, you have a foundation now. You've got something where Jim can start to install this offense and run the offense the way he wants to.
Yeah.
So it's not going to change overnight, but I do think from an expectation standpoint, they're going to be better. They're going to play much tougher, grittier football.
But the thing that I think is so clear here is the conversation that we had last year about one of their picks in Quentin Johnston. He's not an NFL top 3 receiver on a team. He isn't. And you look at Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins, okay, Band-Aid in the backfield. One of those two dudes has to prove that they can still play. But Joshua Palmer is by far their best wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a really good number 2 wide receiver. As a couple of people were proven wrong who had never heard of him and refused to pick him on Prize Picks. And then Chaboy stepped up, picked him, and we won a bunch of bread. Yes! Josh Palmer can play the game, right? But it is, in my opinion, a situation in Los Angeles where you have got to have, and I don't even know, like if we look at, you know, what's the best available? What is the best available wide receiver right now? I would probably be somewhere. If you're the Chargers, do you go defense or do you go wide receiver?
Go wide receiver. You got a Lambo at quarterback.
I think that's probably true. I mean, Ladd McConkey. I mean, Mitchell at Texas is probably the fit. I mean, the cat is. Again, I just ask Ricky Pearsall or Adonai Mitchell.
Yeah.
You took Ricky Pearsall.
It's pretty straightforward. I will say, while we're talking about wide receivers, quick sidebar. Anybody paying attention to Marvin Harrison being in the ass in the draft process?
Did you guys hear this story?
So this guy is refusing to sign the licensing agreement portion of the NFL contract, meaning they can't sell jerseys, can't put them in video games, any of that. And I'm just like, why are you getting in the way of yourself? Why are you like, you're going to be a big time contributor in this league. Why are you doing this? I'll never understand why guys make it so difficult.
I agree. Like you're going to sign this agreement or you're not going to play in the NFL. Because if you're not going to join the NFLPA, you're not going to be accepted in your locker room. So why be difficult about it? And what did I say about Marvin Harrison Jr.?
Yeah.
There are questions about that cat. So we'll see what happens. It's so strange to me. This isn't NIL in college. Kid, they're backing up a Brinks truck into your garage. Sign the agreement. Sign the agreement. Go be a star in Arizona. You can't, you know, you can't.
But to your point, yeah, it's definitely Mitchell. That's the guy you're looking
I
at.
think that's who I would go with,
Yeah.
but that's just me. All right, less of us, more of you. As always, the comment section is presented by our good friends at Prize Picks, prizepicks.com. Screw you, Anthony Davis. Screw you, Paulo Bancanario. I got beat bad on Prize Picks last night. But I mean, my balls ache.
Do they?
They do.
Not as much as Bills fans today, but a lot.
Well,
I mean, you know.
Well, because Bills fans don't have balls. But
Yeah.
anyway, Paulo Banchero, 31 and a half
Banchero.
points, rebounds, and assists, more or less. I took less. Yeah, we'll just put a 45 instead of 32. Fucking Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, Donnie.
34 and a half points, rebounds, and assists. More or less.
I probably would have taken more.
Yeah, so did I, and he had 25. But to my awesomeness,
Yeah.
I'm undefeated with AR-15.
It's because he's not Garbo, dude.
Austin Reeves, 22 points, rebounds, and assists, more or less.
More.
30.
Yeah. By the way, while we're on the topic of AR-15 and Lakerland, D'Lo might want to figure out how to make a shot.
God.
I mean, you might want to figure out how to make a shot, dude. I mean, I know you're paid to shoot the ball.
And then you, when you don't make a shot, don't blow off the media and look like a complete turd, which, by the way, you are, and that's why the Lakers are done.
Come on, man.
D'Lo, I think, went 0 of 7 last night and then didn't meet with the media after the Lakers lost again and they're down 3-0. PrizePicks.com. Download the app. By the way, I still have my series numbers, and I don't know what they are. Anthony Davis, they have 97 and a half points. I don't know. Austin Reeves, 64 and a half points. I don't know. Donnie to make 14 3-pointers in this series. I don't know.
I have one of those as well.
Mm-hmm.
Donovan Mitchell, more or less 103 and a half points in the series versus the Magic.
He's at 30, 50, 66 points.
Yeah.
And that series is 2-1, so you should be okay.
Well, here's the problem, though. It's only games 1 through 4.
Ah, you're cooked.
So he's going to need a 40-piece.
Oh, snap. Snap, You're right.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
Okay, so I need 14 3-pointers in the first 4 games.
Yeah.
3, 5, 6. It's over.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean?
He's not. You really tell me he's going to hit 8 3-pointers?
Who?
Donovan Mitchell.
I mean, he's done it before.
This motherfucker.
That's the kind of game I need him to have. I need him to get hot.
Donnie ain't.
Get hot, Donnie.
Donnie ain't shit, man.
No.
Let's see
Donnie
about.
ain't shit,
Donnie ain't
man.
shit, man. I told you they should.
I told you he was Garbo.
I
bro.
told you they should have traded that Garbo.
Yeah,
bum.
man, should have sent him to the Bronx, man.
It's garbage.
What a bum. He's pissing me off. Austin Reeves, I need him to have 65 points in the first 4 games. 22. 13. I should probably stop playing Prize Picks. Right now, through the first 4 games, he's got 35, 44 points.
And you need how many?
64 and a half.
It's rough.
20, 35, 44. So that could happen. 20 points in a game for him. Man, that ain't shit. My boy.
Yeah,
my boy.
Man,
my
boy, bro. Your boy. You know. Okay. All right.
Why do these players hate me? Now Anthony Davis. Now do Anthony Davis. I'm
going to criticize the organization, Davis.
Truth. I need 98 points. He is at 30, 60, 30, 60, 90, 4, 97. Play with my nipples. Like that's, come on, Austin Reeves. Save your boy. All of this for $57. All of this so I can win $57. That's the best part about Prize Picks. You're not wagering rent money, right? I love it's affordable. I love it's fun. I love that we can get mad at Donovan Mitchell and AR-15 and whoever else, because I'm on a cold snap here.
Yeah.
Okay. Lost 2 of 3 last night. Screw you, Boncaro.
Yeah.
DeMar DeRozan, what a freaking hack. Nikola Vucevic hitting more threes than he's ever hit in his life. Prick. Labrum LeCap needing 10 assists and having 9. Stephen Curry needing 39 points, rebounds, and assists and having 39.
Better send those refunds.
One more. You couldn't hit one more layup. You couldn't dime out one more time to get your boy some $70 money.
Yeah, you couldn't shoot it from 50 feet one more time.
Gain some weight.
All right, let's see what kind of delusional fandom is happening.
Yeah.
In the
Okay. What is
section.
Friday going to be today?
Yeah. First of all,
what is Friday going to be?
Is Buddy here for Caps Lock Friday? Is he in the comments? Do we see him yet?
Not. I don't see Chad Carter here, but it's fine. Let's see. Bailey Dietrich, hello. JD Bickerstaff needs to be fired if the Cavs lose to the Magic in round 1. Screw you, Donovan Mitchell. Go to the Knicks. We don't want you here. Hit a guy. Can you all you do is shoot 3-pointers.
Apparently he doesn't.
Am I asking too much?
Yeah.
Am I asking too much? Tony?
Hey, Tone.
It's a Sopranos reference. Get out of my way, Donnie. Exactly right.
Yeah, dude.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right.
Get out of my way, dude.
Exactly right. Boyd Lake, the SEO king of America. One of the big things they talked about on the broadcast regarding Marvin Harrison was character. Not a shock that he's a royal diva.
And not a shock that he's going to the desert because of it.
I would agree with that. I would totally agree with that. Thank you to Aaron Wilson, gifted a Monty Show membership. Not real Pete Forte, who's an AI bot, gifted 10 Monty Show memberships.
Let's go, Fake 40.
Fake 40. Nice to see you. Nice to see you. 80 Mitchell, Coleman, and McConkey still sitting there for Buffalo if they want. Well, is McConkey the real dude, a guy? I think he is.
Yeah.
I think he's got a chance. I think Mitchell should be that Chargers pick, but we'll see. You look at what's coming up here at the top of the second round. I don't know how I have to believe there's going to be a run. I mean, if you're the New England Patriots and you drafted Drake Maye, don't you have to go offensive line right here? I mean, I think you have to, right?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you got your quarterback now. I think that's a lock. I think you are either, if you're Buffalo, I mean, I would think you would go offensive weapon or defensive line, best defensive lineman. I think there's a lot of good wide receivers left. I think the Arizona Cardinals, without question, have to go defense. The Washington Commanders, I think, without question, have to go offensive line. And then I think that leaves Mitchell to the Chargers. So they should be good there. And then the Titans, I think, are 100% going defense. Because as I told you,
again,
because Chaboy over here, not only am I good looking, but I know a thing or one about football.
That's every day.
You knew they were going J.C. Latham. You knew they had to go offensive line. Had to. So, yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think there's some talent there. UW fan Jim Worthy has the dropsies. He doesn't. And Allen is tired of that S. He does not have the dropsies. Xavier Worthy is, I think, a guy that was a perfect fit in Buffalo. I think Liggett was a perfect fit in Buffalo. Okay, throw out Worthy. What are you doing with Liggett? How do you explain that? I don't know how you explain that. You can't, in my opinion, you can't just say, well, he's got the dropsies. Worthy doesn't have the dropsies. I think you look at his draft grades, and I think you start to understand that this is a steal for the Kansas City Chiefs. I do not understand. What Buffalo is doing. I'm with you. How on earth do you hand the Kansas City Chiefs the exact prototype of the weapon they need offensively? And especially if you're the Buffalo Bills.
And it's not just that now they have a guy that can run past you. It's what that allows them to do to your defense, right? Like because remember the issue, right? It was, hey, we're gonna double Travis Kelce, and then Rasheed's got to get open, or secondary guys have to get open. And now the problem's gonna be that you can no longer double Travis Kelce because you got to double Xavier Worthy.
It's not even that you have to double Travis Kelce. Remember what the brilliant, awesome NFL analyst Monty said yesterday. What does Xavier Worthy do? This is why I would have drafted him if I were Miami. But Xavier Worthy is that guy who you will run, and look at the way that they use Tyreek Hill in Kansas City. How many times did we see Tyreek Hill run right from the left side of the formation and right up outside left and just run straight through the middle of the logo at midfield?
Yep.
And what does that do? It creates this huge vacuum where Travis Kelce became a Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Now you have Xavier Worthy doing the exact same thing, but faster than Tyreek Hill. And Travis Kelce all of a sudden becomes a better wide receiver. And if Rashee Rice finds himself in shackles in a jumpsuit and broke because he can't drive 55, you're fine. Like I think when you look at Xavier Worthy and you start to understand that the guy ran a 4.21, and he is inarguably the exact profile of a wide receiver that you needed in Buffalo. He's 21 years old, super fast, high character guy. What's everybody say? Man, locker room, amazing. He is 165 pounds, 5'11", idyllic size.
Burner.
Right? You look at the fact that he is phenomenal outside the numbers. Now, is he somebody that is going to have to learn how to route run against zone? Yes. But now you gave Andy Reid, who is one of the best offensive minds in the history of the NFL, a project underneath. I love a guy, and we've talked about this on the show with a bunch of different dudes. I love a guy who's got speed, who's got talent and ability to route run, and has the want to be coached. And then you give him one of the best coaches, dude.
By the way,
it's over.
Yeah, you think Xavier Worthy compares to Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill is 5'10", 185 at this point in his career. So he came into the league around 170.
Ideal size for their offense.
So let me get this right.
Ideal.
I just want to make sure I'm on the same page, Buffalo. Buffalo fan, need you here, okay? Need some help here, okay? So Two Holes over here is struggling to understand, why in the hell did you trade this pick? Like, I understand if there was if you were just loaded and you still had Diggs and that relationship was good and you were in a great place. Okay, I guess I understand it a bit, but you're not even there. You needed wide receiver. You needed weapons.
Can you imagine Xavier Worthy when he puts on 10 pounds of lean muscle mass?
175 pounds at that point.
Can you imagine him running a 4.25, 4.28 at 175 pounds? And now I just don't understand it.
Like, come on, dude.
The way, the thing that, and I thought this was a really good point by Dan Orlovsky the other day when he was talking about Xavier Worthy and why he would be perfect for Buffalo. His ability mentally combined with his speed, they showed a bunch of clips of him just terrifying cornerbacks where you would see the corner do that. Look, thing, like he would stop and the corner would just lean. He's so fast, Xavier Worthy, that he doesn't need the cornerback to move his feet. As soon as the upper body leaned forward, Worthy would hit the go. And he had 7 yards of space between him and the corner in 1.5 steps. Let that sink in.
Yeah, dude.
That's covering ground. Nah, Buffalo doesn't need that. And he's got dropsies. He doesn't have every wide receiver is going to drop passes. There's no doubt. Loner phone. Willie Galt with the burst. Prime example of speed, but couldn't.
No,
okay.
Next comment, dude. I'm not playing these games today. Xavier Worthy is not someone who's got dropsies. So y'all can just take that back to the house.
I love that he couldn't catch a football. Worthy,
dude.
What is the terminology people use with Xavier Worthy? Natural playmaker. He is a guy that, yeah, I if you think Willie Galt dropped that's Loner phone. Thank you for staying on brand.
75 receptions for 1,000 yards. Help me understand why you don't want that.
That can't be true. He drops balls all the time.
Jesus.
Marriott Charlottesville. Ricky Pearsall is Adam Thielen.
Okay.
I
guess.
So for the 49ers, my question is, what was Xavier Liggett? Because you passed on better wide receivers to draft Ricky Pearsall. Nobody's saying that Ricky Pearsall is going to be a bad wide receiver. Xavier Liggett has best wide receiver in the NFL ability.
Mm-hmm.
Ricky Pearsall does not. That's where I'm not saying he's a bad wide receiver. D-Rock Irish, hello. The Bills owner is looking to sell off the NHL Sabres. Farm team AHL Rochester Amerks. Brand new Buffalo Stadium and hearing outrage from fans about high costs of season tickets. Cool. You should have drafted Xavier Worthy. I don't know what any of that means. I'd have still drafted Xavier Worthy.
I'm not sure what we're talking about there, bud.
Marriott Charlottesville. Penix at 8 was a joke. Atlanta hasn't had a pass rush in 20 years. Get Dallas Turner.
Right, but what good is a pass rush without a quarterback?
And again, it wasn't a joke. Look at the logic. Slow down a little bit, Sparky, and look at the logic. Was it the pick I would have made? Certainly not. But you don't fault NFL executives when they actually have thought process. The thought process is we have an aging Kirk Cousins who's coming off of an Achilles tear, and we value Michael Penix as a generational quarterback. Apparently, so did multiple other teams who tried to trade up to get him. Atlanta has had nothing at the quarterback position since probably for the last 5 years, and that includes Matt Ryan. You have had bad quarterbacks. You've taken your quarterback spot in the National Football League, which is imperative. You've taken a quarterback position that was your weakness for 5 years, and you've turned it into your strength. Now, are you a better football team today than you were 24 hours ago? You're not. Does that mean it was a horrible pick? It does not. Does that mean you would have done something different? Yes, it does. And I'm perfectly fine with that. But let's not say Penix and then Penix at 8 was a joke. It wasn't a joke. It's not what you would have done. And I understand that. But in the NFL, if your quarterback position's not a strength, you're not a good football team. You understand why Joe Alt went to Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Latham to Tennessee. They're trying to help their quarterbacks. It's why I don't understand Buffalo not taking Xavier Worthy.
Yeah.
Because you need to help your quarterback. I don't think it was that bad. Stepanek, Raiders could have picked better. Sure, they could have picked better. If you look around, I think they clearly knew that they were not going to be able to. Michael Penix Jr., he was they were one of the teams that tried to trade up to get him, the Raiders.
Yeah.
But what did they do afterward? Okay, so they take Brock Bowers at 13, the Raiders did. Talisi Fuaga, Leatu Latu, Byron Murphy, Dallas Turner, and then Amarius Mims to Cincinnati. Are any of those players more of a difference maker than Brock Bowers? I don't think they are. I think Brock is a guy that you can line up at 6 different positions on offense. He is a guy that doesn't have many holes in his game. I like the pick. They need weaponry. Josh Jacobs is not there anymore. Devontae Adams needs help. Doubled every snap last year. You got to help him. And do they have issues at quarterback? They do. Do they have issues on the offensive line? They do. One of the ways you fix that is you bring in guys that can catch the ball and slow down pass rushes. That's Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
So could they have done better? Maybe. But if in 2 years he is an elite tight end, you're never gonna care. You're never gonna care. Mike Smith, Raiders were sitting there waiting to take Penix. Falcons shocked him. Totally agree with that. They tried to trade up to get him. They couldn't do it. Totally agree. Ty Johnson didn't realize how enormous Joe Alt was until he stood up. Big dude, huge balls. I don't know. I'm going to hell. Dakota Tubbs, Cardinals fans, you're going to love Darius Robinson.
Cardinals fans, you're still going to be irrelevant this year. I hope you know that.
Again, you don't have a quarterback. I can only say it so many times. Little bro,
buddy,
is not, in my opinion, an elite NFL quarterback. We've been saying, we joked, we were on the air in Phoenix when they drafted him. We even came up with the name of his restaurant that he's going to open once he busts out of the NFL, Verticality. Like, he's a little dude who runs too much. And what happens to running quarterbacks? They get hurt. He's been hurt. It is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. OG Gary. I think on ESPN, they said a few times that was the last class coach by Saban. How much of that will affect Bama going forward, bro? I thought Nick Saban was phenomenal.
Yeah.
I thought Bill Belichick was phenomenal. And I think that it's very interesting to see how many guys Nick Saban put in the NFL this year. Because I think it'll be at the end of this draft. I'll be very interested to see. And I wonder, what is the curb for Kalen DeBoer at Alabama?
That's a big one.
He's got a lot of talent that stayed, lost some dudes, got some dudes. I'm interested to see what he does there. Very interested to see. James, I like Drake Maye to the Patriots, but let's see who else they draft. They need at least 2 O-linemen the rest of the draft. Well, could be. He also says for $5, Penix to Atlanta was good. But as a KC fan, Xavier Worthy to the Chiefs is great.
Hold on. Quick question. Now you're a Chiefs fan? I'm trying to understand how that works. How did you become a Chiefs fan when you live in Oklahoma?
No, he lives in Texas.
Oh, he lives in Texas.
He is married. I think you're married. You're either married to or shacking up with a Baylor fan. You're an Oak State fan. Brandon Weeden's the best quarterback to ever not be very good in the NFL.
Because it's garbage.
Or is that Mason Rudolph? I get confused between the two. Anyway,
Yeah.
My point is, listen, I know that Michael Penix Jr. is no Thurman Thomas.
Monty, He's not Brandon Weeden, and you're going to put some respect on his name.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. When did you become a Chiefs fan?
Yeah.
What?
You're getting into OG Gary territory with your bandwagoning.
No, he's not. OG Gary is in his own. Listen, man. I've been telling you guys that I am a huge fan of Tarleton State for how many years?
Monty, I told you.
Listen.
Tarleton's NIL situation and the collective is really prolific.
Jimmy's Aeronautical Institute of Technical Aeronautics Wiring and Soldering deserves the pro rata that they've earned. That's why they're my favorite team. Signed OG Gary. You know, it is what it is. Tanner Plummer, correction.
Oh, Christ. Here we go.
Oh, Christ.
Let's go. Here we go.
Whenever Boston sports is good, it's good for sports from a marketing perspective. I'm a marketing student.
Monty, I'm going.
He is a marketing student.
I'm a marketing student, and I know that when major metros are doing well in sports, it's good for the leagues.
Yeah.
And Philly had a crappy draft, and don't talk to me about it.
Yep. Marriott Charlottesville.
Which is different than Marriott.
Right, because there are good people on both sides of that pronunciation.
That's right.
Patriots will be good. Christian Gonzalez and Matt Judon will lead that team. Both guys were out almost all of last year. Patriots will be good. It's the Friday Comedy Hour.
Dude, thank you. Thank you. See, that's the kind of levity I need on the showroom sometimes, you know.
I'm curious how Mayo does there. I'm curious how he does
He
there.
ain't going to make it 3 years, dude. I'm telling you. It ain't going to happen.
We'll see. Stepanik, Tom Brady will play before this year is over. Could be. He didn't run from it. He did not run from it. Do we read a Ferris Khan comment?
Give him one chance. Just one.
JJ to JJ is happening. JJ free Harbaugh is going to end up being the best QB in this draft. Says no one but you. Minnesota is semi-loaded.
What? What are you talking about, bro?
God.
First of all, can you define semi-loaded?
What does it mean when you say semi-loaded? Because when I look at Minnesota, I think you have a huge question mark at head coach. I think you have a void at quarterback. I think you have a situation where, and just looking at where they are and looking at what they need. When you say semi-loaded, I'm going to need you to kind of define that. I think you will have to figure out how to stop people. Now, if they get Johnny Newton from Illinois,
yeah,
who I think is one of the underrated prospects in this draft, and then you take multiple offensive linemen, okay, maybe we can have a conversation. But they have so many needs at core foundational positions. I don't know how we're saying they're semi-loaded when you're looking at a situation where JJ has hinted at wanting to be traded. Come on, man. Like they're not semi-loaded. You're going to have to figure out exactly how you're going to fix this. Did I mention that they overhauled their coaching staff? They're not. I understand you're a JJ free Harbaugh guy.
Well, and he's a Vikings fan.
Apparently. Now he's a Vikings fan.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Get on the bandwagon.
Bailey Dietrich, the Cleveland Browns better draft defensive tackle Michael Hall from The Ohio State University tonight. We'll see. Monty just proposed to Justin Herbert. I'm gonna. I mean, I want to, Fotheringham with him.
Fotheringham.
You're up, man, Jim. the Bears in the playoffs after drafting the best QB and wide receiver in the class. Well, they didn't get Malik Nabers, so they didn't get the best wide receiver. I like Jim. Don't call me Roma Dunze. I think that that's exactly what the Bears should have done: is draft their quarterback, Caleb Williams, and get the best available offensive weapon when you're there. And they did that. I think as soon as this Marvin Harrison nonsense started, all the trade ups to the 4th spot stopped. And I don't think it was accidental, but we'll see. I think that it'll be interesting to see how. I think the NFC North is going to be very, very interesting. The Detroit Lions are a better football team today than they were yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
The Vikings, I don't know. I think the Vikings are in a position where you're going to have to ask JJ Free Harbaugh to be the guy right now. And we're going to find out, because most of the observers in the NFL don't believe he's an NFL quarterback. Most of the observers in the NFL don't believe that Bo Nix is a franchise quarterback. And I think it's pretty rare at the quarterback position for the majority of people who talent evaluate to be like, yeah, I don't see him as a franchise quarterback. And then all of a sudden he's a franchise quarterback.
Right.
That doesn't happen a lot. Now, are guys wrong? Yeah, Mel Kiper's wrong most of the time. But when you look at quarterbacks, they bust a lot. And is Caleb Williams a better prospect than JJ Free Harbaugh? Absolutely. Does that mean he'll be a better quarterback? Absolutely not. Let's see.
Yeah.
I think you have real questions in Minnesota in the trench. Real questions along the defensive line and on that offensive line. You can say the same thing about the Bears. Oh, wait, they went and got Montez Sweat. Oh, wait, like you look at the moves that the Bears have made. They've shored up their offensive line. They've shored up their defense. They've gotten weapons all over the place on offense. And now they draft an elite quarterback prospect and an elite wide receiver prospect.
Yeah, it's all logical. It all makes a lot of sense.
The Packers, same thing. Like the Lions addressed a major need.
Why are you saying good things about division rivals?
I didn't.
Dude? Come on.
I did not say anything good about the Packers.
Come on.
I didn't. I'm still waiting for somebody to set Lambeau Field on fire. That would be
the frozen tundra.
Don't do that. Don't do that. James, Big 12 guy. I live in Kansas. I seen Motley Crue at Arrowhead way better than Garth. Okay.
Bro. Where does that even come from, dude?
No idea. Did the Big 12 have anyone drafted in round 1 last night?
Here we go. No, they didn't have anybody, dude.
Nobody. Brandon Whedon. Tanner Plummer, the rest of my family are Vikings fans and BYU fans. And they're a little ticked that Jaron is still getting more competition from Free Harbaugh. There's no competition. Jaron Hall's not an NFL quarterback.
Yeah, he's just not.
You know. Minnesota is far better than any team that picked a quarterback in the top 10.
Next comment. You've already used up all your leash for
Ken
today.
Williams. Williams sucks. I guess Monty didn't watch the Utah games. He's terrible.
Dude, Ken, I love you, bro, but you don't know what the hell you're talking about, and that's fine.
Caleb Williams sucks.
If that's the best you can do, I get it.
And I love. Here's what I love. I love the. I love the. Did you watch the Utah games?
Well, Monty, you don't even watch Husky football, man. You don't know anything about Rome. Don't call me Jim Adunze. Come on.
So let me get this right. Caleb Williams sucks. Okay. So let's see. If I'm a quarterback and I have these numbers, am I a shitty, terrible quarterback? So in his 34-32 loss to Utah, Caleb Williams was 24 of 34, 256. and ran for 27 yards and a touchdown. That's one of his games. That sucks. And they gave up 34 points to the Utah Utes, who couldn't score 34 points on the season last year. That's Caleb Williams' fault. He sucks. Oh, okay. Okay. I mean, yeah, it's very clear that he sucks. All right. Well, that was 2023. What about 2022? Because let's not forget that he sucks. 28 of 41, 363, 3 touchdowns and an interception against Utah. Yeah, he sucks. The other game where they lost 43-42, 381, 5 fucking touchdowns, no interceptions, 57 yards rushing. Yeah, he sucks. Did you see the games? Ken, maybe not ask me. I'm asking you. Did you see the games against Utah? Yeah, he sucks.
Sorry, how many yards did he have on that defense?
Over 1,000 yards of total offense against Utah in the last 3 games they've played. He sucks.
He's terrible. Wouldn't want him. Man.
Thank you for telling us what you don't know.
Good Lord.
Thank you for telling me what you don't know. Robert Fowler, I love how everybody is calling Caleb a bust before he's even stepped 1 foot on the NFL field. He's the number 1 overall pick. His bust potential is second to none.
Yeah.
When you are the number 1 overall pick, you're second to none.
Yeah.
How many games did he miss? Oh, that's right. He's durable. How many? Like, he sucks. I love it. Caleb Williams' worst game is the Notre Dame game. In Caleb's defense, he didn't have the best offensive line, and they were giving up 40 points a game to Utah. We've had this conversation ad nauseum on this show.
Yeah.
Ken Williams, he lost Monty those games.
That doesn't mean he sucks, dude.
But wait, the USC losing to Utah was Caleb Williams' fault. Do you we're talking about like college football, like tackle football. And you think, and I'm just going to write this. I think you're just trolling. I think you're just being a red ass today. I'm guessing you woke up and the cows took a lot of shits. And so there's more manure to shovel today. I'm guessing. Because you can only be trolling.
You can't be serious.
You can only be trolling.
That you think Caleb Williams is the reason that USC lost. 1,000 yards on Utah's defense, bro.
The ghost of Gumby. Five Guys Burgers suck. Did you even see the Utah game, Monty?
That's what I'm talking about, bro.
Notice his name is not now Gumby anything. It's the ghost of Gumby because Aaron Wilson has pronounced Gumby dead because every day he says rip Gumby. OG Gary, no pass pro is Caleb's fault. Obvious.
I mean, dude.
Guy, you're the quarterback. Protect yourself.
They don't run the football. They don't have pass pro. And Buddy's still got 1,000 yards on your defense.
Caleb Williams.
Come on.
You said Caleb Williams sucks.
Like you're
Monty, did you see the Utah game? Caleb Williams. He's put up 1,000 yards of offense on one of the best defenses in the country. He sucks.
He's terrible.
They lost the game.
That was a masterpiece of dog shit.
It's fine. Steve Stepanek, bye, Monty. Off to the doctor's appointment. Hope you're doing well,
my friend. Do well, dude. Do well.
The Bears need to get O-line picks to protect Caleb. They've already bolstered their offensive line, and they are going to continue to do so. UW fan Jim, he is mad Williams is not a macho man. I know, you guys, I don't understand, and I love that Caleb Williams last night said, I don't care what you think of me crying, or I don't care that the guy cried. We as men, we should not shame people who cry. I don't care that he went and hugged his mom. We've had this conversation ad nauseum. I don't care. Does he win football games? Yes. He sucks. He's a Heisman Trophy winner. He sucks. He put up over 1,000 yards of offense on the Utes in his career.
That's just a huge number. Like, do you understand like how good you have to be to do that to a Kyle Whittingham defense?
Ken Williams, you're only defending him because he's a Bear. No, I've talked about this for months.
We've had epic fights on this show over Caleb Williams, dude. I do not like Caleb can stand up there last night and talk all about how he doesn't give a damn what you think. And I do love that about him. That's a great trait to have. I do love that. But you know, I personally think it's a bad look to cry on the field. That's just my opinion. But that doesn't change the fact that he still shredded your defense, dude. The guy was a problem for you.
We have fought over Caleb Williams for more than a year on this show.
Yeah.
Long before the Bears ever have the number 1 pick. It's called objectivity. I have never been the guy who's a homer. I'm not a homer fan. It's whether I'm talking about Marcus Freeman not counting past 10. Is he capable? I'm hoping. I doubt it. I've never talked about and when is the last time I say anything glowingly about the Bears? We just talked about their stadium proposal the other day with no parking lots.
The Bears, not the Bears. The Bears.
When we've talked about the fact that they've never had a friend like this is you're trolling.
This has nothing to do with the Bears, dude.
No, I'm not even talking about the Bears. I'm talking about one of the most foolish things anybody has ever said on this show. That Caleb Williams sucks. Did you see him against Utah? You're fucking right, I did. When he put up over 1,000 yards. Guy, like, this has nothing to do with the Bears. Nothing to do with the Bears. Anyway, Lee Jensen, how much of this show is talking about people busting?
Wow, bro. You did not just
He means draft picks.
A lot.
Honestly, I'd start stroking guys.
We know these guys are going to come a lot.
Aaron Wilson, I didn't say it today. Well, because Gumby changed his name. Robert Fowler, Gumby, that's classic. It truly is. It truly is. Watch with the icons, though, man. Tanner Plummer, Ken, are you related to Caleb Williams? That they share the same name, they must be related.
Well, see, dude, Ken, you just should have told us. You're pissed that he didn't give you nail polish. That's what it is.
Aaron Wilson, everyone likes the bit after they get mad about it. They do. They do. Ghost of Gumby, I love the bit. I love it too.
Yeah.
You know, Ken Williams says, hell no. Okay. RJC Loner Phone, Bears going to be Bears, just going with narratives till they prove us all wrong. And you should. The Bears do not draft, develop, and sustain quality quarterbacks.
But admittedly, you know, even if you're a hater, you have to admit that they're going in a little bit better of a direction here. At least now they've got the draft right. You know, I would say, you know, you got the first round of the draft right. You got your guys, and now we move along.
I think when you look at their history, and you look at the fact that, you know, you're bringing in guys that make a tangible difference, right? Like you're signing arguably the hottest assistant general manager in the NFL to a long-term extension. So what do you do? You're building stability in your talent evaluators.
Yeah.
So that the talent you bring in knows, hey, the Bears are committed to those guys. The Bears have never operated like that. You're bringing in offensive line talent. You're bringing in wide receiver talent. You're drafting wide receiver talent. You're bringing in running back talent. You're drafting the best prospect. You've identified him as your guy. You've been building a system to benefit this particular human since the day your season ended. The Bears have never operated like that. I'm 51 years old. I've never seen them operate like this. It's different. Does that mean they're going to win? No. No, it does not. But you know what else is different? You look at the defense in Chicago. Montez Sweat is different. TJ Edwards is different. Going and getting those two dudes is different. I don't know how you don't like the deal they did with Jalen Johnson. I don't know how you don't like the deal that you bring in Montez Sweat. How do you not like that deal? Not only did you bring him in, then you signed him to a long-term deal.
Yeah.
Stability. You have actual depth on your defense now. right? Like you have on offense, Gerald Everett and Cole Kmet is that's systematic fit that works with the quarterback that you're bringing in. Before they drafted Caleb Williams, they brought him out to Chicago and took him out to dinner. When I say they, it wasn't the owner representative. It wasn't the president, Kevin Warren. It wasn't the general manager. It wasn't the assistant. They took their core players, DJ Moore, Cole Kmet, Montez Sweat. Those guys took Caleb Williams out to dinner because the front office said, you're our leadership. We want you to evaluate this guy that we're telling you is going to be our franchise quarterback and our leader. And they loved him and raved about him. That's the way you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
And it feels awkward for me to say that because I'm a Bears fan and they never do that stuff.
What is your level of confidence that they will actually be? Because most people put their number for wins at about 8 wins, 8.5. Do you think they get over that?
I think that when I look at the Bears and I look at the build of their coaching staff, Shane Waldron, I really like their offensive coordinator is Shane Waldron. Richard Hightower is their special teams coach, which has been every year he's been there. I think this will be his 3rd year. They've gotten better. Consistency. So when you ask me how many games I think they're going to win, if they remain consistent, I think they have a legitimate chance to be a playoff team. They are not as good as Detroit.
No.
And I don't believe that they are as good as the Packers until they show me they are. Because Jordan Love took a small yet mighty step forward last year.
An important step, one that was necessary.
I would agree. And we'll see what their schedule winds up looking like.
But look, listen, Caleb Williams sucks, so I'm going to say under, okay? Just so you know. Caleb Williams is terrible, so, we're going to go under.
I really like what Shane Waldron did with Geno. I really like his history of building quarterbacks. And I really like the talent group that Ryan Poles has brought in. And I'm excited about it. I don't think it means that you're all of a sudden going to win the division. Detroit got much better yesterday. And I hope that people see that. I mean, it worries me that the division got better yesterday. I don't believe the Vikings are ready to compete. I don't think the Vikings go from what were they last year? 7-10, 6-11, 7-10. I don't think that they yesterday became 3 wins better. Not unless free Harbaugh is something that we don't understand. Because I think if the Vikings are going to contend for a wild card or the division, JJ McCarthy is going to have to be the rookie of the year in the NFL. That's the only way that happens because they're not good on the offensive line and they are not good on the defensive line.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you win in this league without those two things. And it's why you look at what Jimmy's doing in Los Angeles with the Chargers. The Chargers are a better football team today than they were yesterday. Now, they're going to have to get weapons. There's no doubt. But they're better. Unequivocally, the Chicago Bears are as good today as they have been in the last 5 years. And they seemingly have a front office and offensive staff that has autonomy to do what needs to be done to make Caleb Williams the best quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
I think Don't Call Me Jim Roma Dunze was a really good, I can't say it any other way. Deal with it. Don't Call Me Fran Tarkington a Dunze. I just said Fran Tarkington. Who's Fran Tarkington?
I don't know.
You don't know who Fran Tarkington is.
Dude, I don't know who Roma Dunze is. I know who Jim Rome is.
I know who your mom is.
Monty, he's not talking about Jim Rome. I think he's talking about Roma Dunze. Okay?
I think Rome Odunze is a really nice addition, and he is going to be mentored by wide receivers who are very, very good. You're saying we have a chance. I'm saying you have a chance. That's what I'm saying. Ty Johnson, too bad because Marvin will win the Rookie of the Year.
I don't know, dude. I don't think that's as much of a lock as you may think it is. The Cardinals organization is a problem.
Can anybody explain to me how you don't agree to sign with the NFL Players Association? Because you're going to sign your contract. And then you're going to, and so if you didn't hear the story, Marvin Harrison Jr. refused to sign the licensing agreement from the NFLPA. That's a rider to your NFL contract. It basically says, hey, we can make money on your name, image, and likeness, and we're going to pay you some of the money we make. So let me get this right. You're Marvin Harrison Jr. You just got drafted 4th overall by the DUI facilitating Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah.
But they're not allowed to sell your jersey. They're not allowed to sell T-shirts. They're not allowed to put your picture on their website, on their social media. You cannot do interviews with their hat or jersey on. And the NFL can't put you in promotion because you refuse to sign the NFLPA name, image, and likeness agreement. Do you guys understand that that's what Marvin Harrison did? So we just drafted you 4th overall, but we can't sell your jersey or T-shirts. And we can't photograph you in Cardinal or NFL licensed gear. Like, what are we doing?
Not what we should be.
And you think that's the guy that's just going to fit in lockstep? And I don't see it. I don't see it. Somebody explain to me how on earth does that happen? They can't sell your jersey, you cock.
Yeah.
Like Fanatics can't sell your jersey. Nike can't sell your jersey. Why is this not a bigger story? I can't believe it. I can't. That's exactly right. I guess that's one way to keep your name out there or out people's mouths.
Apparently.
What'd you get for Christmas? Not a Marvin Harrison Jr. jersey. Back to school sale at fanatics.com. Ricky Pearsall jerseys, 50% off. Like, what are we doing? Big Daddy Magic. I only buy Buffalo Bills jerseys that will ever be on my beautiful body. Yeah, Xavier Worthy's Buffalo Bills jerseys. Oh, wait.
Oh.
You know.
Man, he's going to look good in red.
You know. Seriously. Mike Smith, Gumby died to collect life insurance money. Well, yeah, I mean, he's on an island living on a yacht. That's how he messages the show. Aaron Wilson, 13 months. Nice, Kaufman. Kaufman? Oh, Kaufman, TCR. At nut. Okay. Everybody likes a good nut. Macadamias, please. Thank you. Brooks. Okay.
Stay hard.
Keep up the great work, guys. Who did the best for their team in round 1, in your opinion? Boy, that's a great question. I think of the quarterbacks, I don't think there's any doubt. It is either Caleb Williams in Chicago. I'm curious about Bo's Dick in Denver.
Bo's Dick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Bo's Nix. I'm curious
Bo
about
Nix is playing well.
I'm curious about Bo Nix in Denver.
Yeah.
Because I don't think there's a middle, like he's not going to be Marcus Mariota, like just average, always making mistakes, always making the average play, rarely spectacular. Right. I don't think Bo Nix is that guy. I think Bo Nix is boom or bust. Because we've seen it at Oregon, right? We've seen it at Oregon.
Mm-hmm.
He's got massive play potential. But does that translate? In Sean Payton's offense, I think it does. I think it does.
Yeah.
But how many teams added Caleb Williams and Jim Rome Odunze? Not many. That's a lot of talent. I think the Bears have to be there. J.C. Latham to the Titans is a home run.
Yep.
I
think Nabers will do well in New York.
Yeah, but that Daniel Jones situation is going to hang over them. I think the Baltimore Ravens with Nate Wiggins, but that's not the best move. The Kansas City Chiefs, I think, arguably with Xavier Worthy.
Yeah, Xavier Worthy is a steal, no question.
Detroit with Terry and Arnold. I think when you draft a guy like Terry and Arnold, who's specifically, I mean, do you guys understand how many big plays they gave up last year? I mean, I know we have a lot of free Harbaughs that listen to the show.
Let's not forget the lead they got out to and then lost.
They routinely got their back broken deep down the field. And I think Terry and Arnold fixes that to a certain extent. But I also, you know what? I think if you're the Dallas Cowboys, didn't you get the offensive lineman that makes Dak Prescott a better player?
Yeah.
I mean, Tyler Guyton is a huge pickup for them because anything to facilitate. Hell, Quinion Mitchell's nice. If one team, it's probably the Bears. It's hard to find somebody. The Vikings certainly are in the same conversation.
Dude, the most impactful draft pick is Xavier Worthy. I firmly believe that. I think he allows them to go back to being what they were.
Chiefs are a better football team today. I agree with that 100%.
Opens their offense way up.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
Because it makes Travis Kelce a better football player.
Yeah.
That's terrifying. So that's interesting. I think that's a tough question to answer. The Ghost of Gumby, Bo Nix in Denver sounds about right. Could be. You must have accidentally blocked him.
Oh, what happened now?
What happened? You can't accidentally block people. Wait, what did Aaron say? Why don't I ever see BDM's messages? It makes me sad. Big Daddy Magic? I don't know. Dev MCC, what's up? I miss Ryan Smith's receding hairline.
Iconic.
It is iconic. It is very much iconic. Very, very much iconic. Delaric, Knicks will be slightly worse than Cousins.
Maybe.
Oh, the Cousins fights we've had. Did Atlanta mess that up? I don't think they did.
I don't think they did, because even if Kirk leaves, they still got their guy.
Yeah. Michael Smith. Mountain Mama. Michael. Also, if a user posts a message but turns around and deletes it, you will not see it, but Monty will. Yes.
Hey, Monty.
I see his message because I don't read your comments off of YouTube, which is why a lot of times I'm not using YouTube. You guys don't give a rat's ass. I'm not using YouTube. I use a piece of software that brings in comments from all of our platforms. So I don't see when YouTube blocks somebody, which is why so many people get pissed. When somebody gets filtered or put in timeout, or I don't see that. I have to go look at it after the show. Shout out. Ex-Chief KC, exactly right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. Caleb Aylmore. What a stud. The Commanders have to make some great picks today. But they have a majority of picks in the second and third rounds. Yes. Do you guys like Jaden Daniels to the Commanders? I do.
I don't know what else they would have done. You know, that's one of those picks that's about as straightforward as it gets.
I like it because Dan Quinn's a guy who knows you have to win up front. And I feel like I've said this 1,000 times the last 2 days. You got to win in the offensive line and the defensive line.
Yeah.
That's where the NFL is played. So I feel like Dan Quinn knows that. And you have new ownership there. Like I think that if Jaden Daniels is going to thrive, Washington's not the worst place to go. It's better than May in New England.
Yeah.
I hate that spot. Gig Addy. Only the worthy ones can see BDM's messages. That's right.
True. It's facts.
That's right. That's right. Loner phone. I don't block anyone either, but Ferris Khan is giving me a reason to reconsider this decision. What did Ferris say now? I didn't read it. Let's see. Big Daddy Magic. Did I read this one? Hey, player Ryan Smith, cuz competition. He likes the softball questions. I spent 25 minutes with him after the hockey party. You didn't get him on the show, though. You're supposed to be the ambassador of the Monty Show. Come on. Jason Beagle, go Bo Nix. Okay. Hello, Facebook. Mountain Mama, I blocked that Michigan troll. There you go. Loner Phone, Mike, you rock. Dakota, we coming for that three-peat NFL. Do you believe? I actually do. OG Gary does not. I paid for that hairline. I own it.
Dude.
Ken Williams, I'm glad he's gone and not a Viking anymore. Kirk Cousins?
And y'all hate on Kirk Cousins.
I never see BDM's messages ever. Really? Okay. I don't know why that is. Sean Schrock. The M tattoo on Harbaugh's arm really stands for Monty, not Michigan. I've heard that.
I mean, that's correct.
I've heard that. And the tramp stamp, the front tramp stamp that, no, I'm not. Let's just move on because that.
No comment.
Okay. Atlanta did right. Penix will sit for a year and a half, for 1.5 years to 2 years and be better for it, Delaric says. Yes, I agree. Washington needs to replace that defensive talent they traded away. I'm telling you, New Orleans is a better football team. And if you look at Nolans, you look at New Orleans and you start looking at, who believes in Chase Young? I was a little disappointed with some of the lack of effort plays, but there's no doubt that Chase Young brings a bit of fear into that defense. And I'll be curious to see, I think, looking at their roster, they're not bad. They're just not ready.
Right.
And when you get a guy like Cameron Jordan to renegotiate his contract, I thought that was a huge move. So we'll see. I don't necessarily believe that you're terrible, but I also think you don't have a great offensive mind or great head coach. I think you're going to miss Michael Thomas, even though he wasn't on the field much. It'll just be interesting to see how all this plays out.
Yeah,
in my opinion, but it is what it is. Who do you think won the draft?
I think the Chiefs won the draft. I legitimately think that much of that pick. I think that Xavier Worthy is the missing component to an offense that's unstoppable. Meaning, you now have to respect the deep ball. You now have to find a way to slow down Travis Kelce. And God forbid they'd run the football a little bit. You got to figure that out too. And the days of Patrick Mahomes running for his life while they're not over, they should be far less. You should actually be able to have him step back and throw the football. And I would imagine you will see a lot of heavy defensive back concepts against the Chiefs.
I think you might be right. That's finally, you don't sound stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, you look stupid. Somebody in the comment section yesterday said you have a slappable face.
Well,
why don't you fuck off?
I don't think you have a slappable face.
Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. I don't know.
Don't blink.
It's fine. Big Daddy Magic.
Well,
I tried to get him to come on your show.
Did you really?
No, you didn't. He sees you as competition. You did not. He owns a lot of the media, and you guys are kicking his ass. He did buy me a steak dinner. I'm going to have Nora's Italian tonight, although they don't have any reservations. We're going to Las Vegas, and I don't know what to do about dinner. I feel better when I don't eat dinner. I'm getting weird.
Let's get into it.
I'm neurotic. I have I'm mentally broken. I lost my shit on a golf hole yesterday.
Yeah.
A, I take golf way too seriously.
Uh-huh.
B, I'm not fun to play golf with.
Uh-huh.
C, I didn't eat dinner last night and I slept like ass. And I woke up really hungry.
Yeah.
But I also got on the scale this morning before I did my laundry. I lost 2 more pounds. So is it because I'm golfing more and not eating much at night?
Yeah.
Or is it because I'm fat and I have a lot of weight to lose?
Well, I think you got to find the balance, though.
You're supposed to say, Monty, come on, you're not fat.
Monty, come on, dude. You're being too harsh on yourself, you know? Like, you gotta have something, man. Like, if you don't eat, you're gonna wake up hungry. It's way too long to go without eating.
And now I'm not hungry. Like we get in, dude. I get up at I woke up at 3:55 today.
Yeah, bro. Today was one of those days where you wake up, you're like, all right, like I'm not here for it, but I got to work through this.
I took a piss at 3:37. Went back to bed. Woke up at 3:55. Looked at my phone, and then it was like, okay, it's 4:07. Now I'll read one more story. It's 4:12. Okay, got to check Insta Snapface. And then it's like, okay, dude, it's 4:20, bro. Time to blaze. No, it's 4:20. You got to get out of bed. And then I stood up, and it's like, it would be so much easier to go back to bed.
Yeah.
So tonight we're going to Las Vegas.
Lost wages.
Nora's Italian restaurant in Las Vegas is phenomenal. So, but the only reservation they have is 9:45. I'm not eating rigatoni at 9:45.
Who do you think I am? I can't just eat anything.
Tone. We used to have Sopranos drops. Anyway.
Yeah.
I'm not eating pasta at 9:45.
All due respect.
Yeah, I'm not doing that at 9:45. I love Nora's. I'm not doing it at 9:45.
Yeah.
Because we're supposed to golf at what, 5?
Yeah.
Something like that.
I believe it's 5 or 5:30. Yeah.
So is that 18 or 9?
18.
So then we won't be done till 8. I'm not eating at 9 o'clock. Suck it. I'm not doing it.
Suck it.
I probably won't eat dinner tonight. Then tomorrow we're playing TPC Las Vegas. And we're supposed to go to Mastro's tomorrow night. So I think I can skip the Italian tonight.
Oh, dude, no. It's 6:50, it says, for Las Vegas National.
Tonight?
That's what it says. That's what it says. It says 6:50.
Pacific time. So it's 5:50.
5:50.
Yeah. 5:50. I'm not eating at 9 o'clock.
We're not going to be done at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, we will. It'll be fast. I am dedicated to being better mentally playing golf.
Yeah, so you were upset with yourself yesterday that you got
I
upset.
was not happy with myself yesterday. I have really worked on not getting pissed at every shot I take.
Yeah, I think you've gotten better.
And yesterday I was playing 9 holes and I was 3 over through 5, playing pretty good golf. And then I had one of those moments where I just couldn't hit an iron, and it really fucking annoyed me. And I need to be better about it. I am committed to not re-hitting bad iron shots.
Yeah.
I've been reading a bunch of, so I've been doing a lot more self-development. Like I try to spend some quiet time. Like I try to think and I was reading over the weekend that like you shouldn't re-hit your shots. And yesterday I couldn't hit an iron shot for whatever reason. I got to this hole and I couldn't hit an iron shot. Like it was the weirdest thing ever. And they say if you hit a bad shot in golf, after you hit the bad shot, take a practice swing and then put it away. And that's what I'm going to do from now on. Big Daddy Magic. Hey, player, you need to smoke weed.
Okay.
Do you know how bad? No.
Maybe that's how we can get to the opinion of Caleb Williams sucks.
Maybe. Tanner Plummer, where's the Italian?
Yeah, I just think that it's a.
Where's the Italian?
It can be a frustrating game, but
I'm not going. I'm not going to lose my mind over it. It's just not. It's not worth it. Kaufman says, later, guys, have a good one. See ya.
Peace.
It's just golf is just not worth it. It's not worth getting all pissed about. But I was watching that on TikTok last night. And so my question is, so the TikTok ban's happening.
Right.
You guys know that this got put into a piece of legislation. So here's my question for you. Should TikTok be banned? Well, everybody was like, oh, well, they'll just sell to a U.S. company and then it'll be fine. That is until Marge and her friends did some research. And they figured out that the US TikTok market is less than 1% of their global audience. And the company that owns TikTok, ByteDance is the name of it, uses a proprietary algorithm, a piece of software, which is what makes TikTok so dominant. The problem with that is ByteDance is a massive company. And one of their smallest bases, one of their smallest exposures is TikTok. So if they sell TikTok, they're giving their algorithm away, which powers all of their platforms. So yesterday, ByteDance essentially said, we're going to fight it in court, but under no circumstances are we selling TikTok. If at the end of the day we lose, we will just shut down TikTok in North America. They're not going to sell TikTok.
Yeah.
And the best part about that is that Marge and all the other Republicans that voted for this are all on TikTok. And it's going to be really interesting to see how that all plays out. Because I am somebody that agrees, I don't love the Chinese government owning anything.
Yeah.
But are we really, I mean, at some point, are we really, we're worried about the security of Americans' personal information?
Yeah, I think the bigger concern should be how addictive TikTok is. I think it's less about the Chinese government. That is a concern, but I think it's more about just how addictive TikTok is. I mean, I look, it's a great platform, and you can do a lot with it, like no doubt about it. But my God, dude, it annoys me to no end that people just go down the funnel, man. You open TikTok, and now all of a sudden, 20 minutes later, you haven't done a damn thing. And you're looking at it before bed. You're looking at it here. You're looking at dude, what are we getting out of it? We're not getting anything out of it. It is truly just a time vampire.
Yeah, it's all it is.
And I don't really even use it. Honestly, I don't. I'm an Instagram guy, and that's pretty much it. Obviously I have Twitter, but I never got on the TikTok obsession train. That was never my deal.
I like TikTok. I enjoy TikTok. I almost exclusively watch minnow fishing and golf. That's it. I'm not the conspiracy theory guy. I don't use the TikTok shop. I'm not spending money on TikTok. But here's the thing. People are like, oh, man, they're getting our information. Do you really think your information's secure? Do you think TikTok's the biggest threat to your personal information?
Come on.
Have you heard of Alexa? Have you heard of the iTunes store? Have you heard of... you think Google doesn't have your information? Are you guys out of your mind?
Yeah.
Google has your information.
Yeah.
It's already compromised. Jaron Eccles says do.
Okay.
Okay. Man. I love what the Dolphins did. Pork chop is phenomenal. I think he's phenomenal. I think he's Chris Cooley. What's his name? Alex Cooley. Thank you. I'm terrible with names. Alex Cooley lost his mind as a Dolphins fan in the members only chat last night. Do you know how many things I've learned from TikTok? It's crazy. I used one yesterday. I made shitty macaroni and cheese for lunch yesterday. Hated it. Don't know why I made it. But one of the things I learned on TikTok the other day was that once you get the noodles in the water, and you know how the water boils up and rolls over the pan, put one ice cube in there and move 60% of the pan off of the flame, and the noodles will stir themselves and it won't overflow. And my God, it works perfectly. It works perfectly.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I had absolutely no idea that that's how that worked. I learned, Jaron, I learned so much stupid stuff on TikTok. It's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous how much you learn. Ken Williams, no, it shouldn't be an open market. Let people make a choice on their own. It's called freedom. This is what I always say. in this country, freedom is not real. It's like this thing out here that we always try to leverage, but it's not real. It's not fucking real.
Yeah.
We used to have that drop.
We still have it.
We don't play drops on the show anymore.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Right.
But freedom's not real, whether it's guns, abortion, access to healthcare, affordable housing. We don't have freedom. If I want to look at TikTok, I should understand what the risk is. And if I get baked on TikTok, okay, that's my fault.
Yeah.
That's it. That's my fault.
Yeah.
Why do you think I don't use Twitter very often? I don't like Twitter.
Yeah, it's not fun.
It's a cesspool, so I don't go there.
Yeah.
Why do you think I don't go to Facebook? Because I don't like Facebook. I use Instagram. I look at TikTok and YouTube. That's it. I don't, candidly, and I apologize, I don't answer most DMs and notifications on X. I don't. If you send me if you send me a note on Facebook, I'm probably not going to ever see it, because I just think Facebook is death.
Brutal.
I like Instagram. I don't think it's nearly as negative as like, I understand they're trying to make X better. They're trying to make X better. Totally get it. Let me know when it is, and I'll come back. But I'm not going to read it. I'm not going to live on it. I'm not, because all it is, it's so funny to me how many people are just super negative on Twitter. What's the point?
Yeah.
I already get pissed off enough playing golf.
Yeah.
I already self-deprecate in my mind.
There's too many haters, bro. There's too many haters.
And again, doing what we do, we need haters. It's good for us. I'm just not going to interact with it.
Yeah.
So to all the people who are great on X or great on Facebook, sorry, I'm not there. I'm not there. Find me on TikTok. Find me on Instagram. You know.
Yeah.
West Virginia Walrus, different dictator, same tyranny if they sell. Yeah, probably. They won't sell TikTok.
No.
Because it is very interesting. It's very interesting. Their AI is better than ours. And it makes perfect sense. Why would you sell the AI that powers your entire company?
Yeah.
For 1% of your users. I'm not doing anything for 1% of anybody or anything. I'm not doing that, right? Fresh G Rocher. We find so many recipes on TikTok. There's actual good stuff on TikTok.
The content itself is not the issue.
No.
The issue that I have is that the algorithm does such a good job, it's addictive. And I believe that addictiveness is what, it is the reason why, people just obsess over TikTok, and it's everything from the music trends to, the content, it just is, it's too much, man. We have too much screen time every day.
James, I love TikTok. The people I follow and they are funny. I like TikTok too. I don't hate TikTok, but I'm kind of with Jake. It is a time vampire. I'm trying to spend more time with my wife at night because we don't get a lot of time together during the week. And you just figure out quickly, social media takes that time away from you.
Yeah,
it does. John Hamm, in my opinion, it's not just our info. China has a say in the information Americans consume, and over time, that is not a good thing. I agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a reasonable conversation.
But then why are we not, well, we are. I mean, why are we not trying to do the same thing to Google? We are. Why are we not going after Apple for the way that the App Store and iTunes work? Oh, we are. That's right. And the Meta lawsuits and why are we not, like, this is my argument with Elon on X. Oh, man, I'm getting rid of the bots and the misinformation. How'd that work out?
Yeah.
It didn't. It's worse than it's ever been. So now, did anybody notice this? And because we're business owners on Twitter, right? We have a business account. Their salespeople now are hitting me 2-3 times a week. Hey, try this. Hey, look at this. Hey.
Video.
Because they're trying to earn more money and drive more interaction, because interaction on Twitter has never been lower than it is right now. The Q factor of Twitter has never been lower than it is right now.
Yeah.
The user base on Twitter has never been lower than it is right now. And I think one of the reasons that is because when it all went to hell at Twitter, everybody went to TikTok. Everybody went to TikTok. And I think that's one of the main reasons people of influence want it banned. I think Elon would love if TikTok was banned.
Yeah.
Because I think it would drive people back to Twitter in droves. But he's also now doing all this moderating. You guys understand that he essentially stopped your ability when he took over the company. He fired the entire moderating department. He fired the entire security department. So he got rid of all the people who are like, oh yeah, that's not a good tweet. We're going to take that down. Hey, you can't call people ethnic slurs. We're going to take that down. He fired all those people. Very quietly, what has he done? His moderation department is now back to 60% of what it was. So he's bringing all those people back. Why is he bringing them back? Because he's tripled the number of salespeople that Twitter has. And why is he doing that? He's trying to make money now. And why is he doing that? Because Tesla is going to go out of business. Tesla's in real trouble. Did you guys see that they recalled every single Cybertruck that they've sold? And they have stopped delivering them because there's so many problems with it. So many problems. And now they're saying, and it makes a lot of sense because the one thing Tesla does really well is they make batteries.
Yeah.
What he's going to morph Tesla into, in a lot of people's opinion, is he's going to morph that into a battery and charging company. So he's going to have supercharger stations across the country, which he has a lot of them already. And he's going to make batteries for EV companies and aeronautics.
Smart.
I think that's what he's going to morph that into, because did anybody see that Rivian got new funding? And look what they did, 2 weeks ago now. Released cars for the next 3 years, which Elon has not done. And I think the Cybertruck was his last best hope. And the Cybertruck has been nothing but an insane failure.
Bust.
Like insane failure.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, right? Like it's really too bad. Let's see. Big Daddy Magic. Hey, playa, I just want to say I appreciate you. And I hope the Bears make the playoffs. It will be next to impossible, but I hope they do it. Thank you. Thank you. Kale Mitchell just turned on the stream. When do they talk about JJ? Go back to the beginning. That was 2 hours ago. Mike Smith says they'll talk about JJ on Saturday. Yeah, be here Saturday. We'll talk about
Saturday, 6 a.m.
Fresh G. Rocher. The only time I felt free was when I was on a 1-acre island in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Yes, I agree. Wasikowski. I hesitate to read. China doesn't allow American companies like TikTok in China, so we should do the same. Yeah, let's do exactly what the Chinese do. Oh, thanks for coming. If you're worried about China getting your info, let me introduce you to the NSA. Dude, I like you. I like you. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Your information's compromised. It always has been.
Let me introduce you to the NSA.
My guy. Kale, welcome to the show. FISA, yes. Ken Williams. A lot of people use it to sell products and get information out that the woke outlets won't. Man, you were doing so good.
The woke outlets.
You were doing so good.
Is that why you don't like Caleb Williams? Because he's woke?
No, he sucks.
Oh, that's right.
The Ghost of Gumby. NSA equals greater than or equal to China.
China.
Mike Smith. Chickadee China, the Chinese chicken. That's a song. The Chinese chicken. Okay. Dakota, Tesla is a technology company, not an automotive company. I agree with that 100%. Exactly right. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. Loaner phone. Did you see new batteries cost folks $20,000 and in some cases $50,000? I'm not ready.
I'm not
for
doing
EVs.
it, bro.
I'm not ready. Jaron Eccles, the Cybertruck is a joke. So many issues across the board. Learned all about it on TikTok. Are you guys? I'm surprised it's that much of a bust.
What?
The Cybertruck.
Yeah, I mean, I think there was hype over it, but again, Elon's problem is his stuff costs too much. We're not in a time where people have a ton of expendable income. You want to play to the rich folks, fine, but
you can't even make a car that got an accelerator.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. Anyone who I've seen driving a Tesla around town is a certain cut of person, and they're that ritzy kind of over the top person who has to have the nicest of nice or the most hip thing right now. And that's his problem. He doesn't cater to the everyday American.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Delaric gets the final say today. I just called the NSA and asked if they wanted any information. And they said, nah, we're good. We have it all. Exactly right. The Monty program is brought to you by our good friends at The Advocates, theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. Be careful this weekend. Be safe this weekend. If you're in an accident, you get hurt at work, get in a car accident, some asshole hits you with his golf ball, call The Advocates. Get to theadvocates.com, chat with an injury attorney for free. Live online, 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.